I defend Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. For those who are not in the Hollywood world, what is wrong with her taking over the film?
I've never seen it before in my 30 plus year career in Hollywood.
Hollywood thrives on drama, but this isn't a movie. It's real-life chaos. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's feud has erupted into an all-out war, with lawsuits, leaked footage, and even allegations that Ryan Reynolds used Deadpool to take shots at Baldoni. What started as whispers on a movie set has turned into one of the biggest scandals in Hollywood history. Is Lively a victim of a ruthless smear campaign? Or is Baldoni fighting back against a fabricated attack? The truth is messier than anyone expected. Let's break down the 10 key. It all began when Blake Lively filed a shocking complaint against Justin Baldoni, accusing him of creating a toxic work environment on the set of It Ends With Us. According to Lively, Baldoni's behavior was invasive, unprofessional, and at times outright inappropriate. The lawsuit quickly sent shockwaves through the industry, but Baldoni wasn't backing down. Lively's legal team wasted no time in outlining a detailed account of the alleged incidents, painting a picture of a work environment that had grown increasingly tense as filming progressed. Sources close to the case revealed that Lively felt deeply uncomfortable with Baldoni's on-set conduct, which allegedly ranged from excessive micromanagement to personal boundary violations that blurred the lines between director and lead actress. Industry insiders were stunned. Baldoni, who had long been regarded as a charming and well-liked figure in Hollywood, suddenly found himself at the center of a legal firestorm. His supporters argued that Lively's claims were exaggerated, with some speculating that creative differences between the two had escalated beyond repair. Others, however, pointed out that this wasn't the first time a high-profile actor had spoken out about problematic behavior behind the scenes. As the lawsuit gained momentum, statements from both parties only added fuel to the fire. Lively's camp insisted that she was taking a stand not just for herself, but for other actors who had endured similar treatment in silence. Meanwhile, Baldoni maintained that the allegations were completely unfounded, vowing to fight the claims and defend his reputation. Hollywood quickly split into factions, with some celebrities voicing their support for Lively's courage in speaking out, while others expressed skepticism over the timing and nature of the accusations. The production team of It Ends With Us found themselves under scrutiny as well, with insiders leaking conflicting reports about what had really happened on set. What started as a legal battle between two industry figures soon became a larger discussion about power dynamics in Hollywood, the pressures of filmmaking, and the fine line between artistic direction and overstepping personal boundaries. And as the lawsuit unfolded, the stakes only got higher. By now, everyone's heard the bombshell accusations Blake Lively has leveled against Justin Baldoni, claims of unwanted advances, invading her personal space, and even launching a behind-the-scenes PR smear campaign to ruin her if she ever spoke out. But here's what hasn't been talked about enough: the deeper implications of these allegations and what they reveal about Hollywood's power plays. According to insiders close to the situation, this wasn't just a case of on-set discomfort. It was a calculated effort to control the narrative before it even started. Industry sources have hinted that Baldoni had been laying the groundwork for months, allegedly working with PR firms and key Hollywood figures to plant unflattering stories about Lively long before she took legal action. The strategy: discredit her before she could even go public. And here's where things get even murkier. Lively reportedly had proof. Leaked messages, emails, and even whispered conversations within industry circles suggested that Baldoni's camp had preemptively reached out to entertainment outlets, hinting at her being difficult and uncooperative on set. Some of these claims surfaced just weeks before she filed the lawsuit, raising the question, was this all part of a larger, orchestrated effort to silence her before she could take a stand? But let's not forget how this kind of manipulation has played out before in Hollywood. Time and time again, we've seen powerful industry figures try to turn the court of public opinion against their accusers, using media spin to bury allegations before they gain traction. Lively's case isn't happening in isolation. It's exposing a pattern that's been hiding in plain sight. As for Baldoni, his team is sticking to their counter-narrative, claiming this is nothing more than a dramatic fallout between two people who clashed creatively. But if that were true, why do multiple sources claim that negative press about Lively was in circulation long before she took legal action? Why were these difficult actress stories already making rounds when there hadn't been any public tension before? This lawsuit isn't just about two Hollywood figures locked in a bitter dispute. It's about control, reputation, and how power is wielded in an industry where perception is everything. The real question now? Who's telling the truth, and who's been working overtime to make sure we never find out. Then, the New York Times published an explosive report titled "We Can Bury Anyone: Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine." The investigation seemed to support Lively's claims, revealing a coordinated effort to destroy her reputation. Suddenly, Baldoni found himself painted as the villain, and Hollywood figures like America Ferrera, Gwyneth Paltrow, and even Amber Heard rallied behind Lively. Justin Baldoni wasn't about to let this scandal define him. Instead of retreating, he went on the offensive, filing a jaw-dropping $250 million defamation lawsuit against the New York Times, claiming they deliberately twisted the narrative to paint him as a villain. But here's the real twist. He didn't just deny Lively's accusations. He came armed with receipts. In a bold move, Baldoni released private text messages that, according to him, completely contradicted Lively's claims. Among them, messages where Lively allegedly invited him into her trailer, directly challenging her previous statements about him invading her personal space. His legal team argued that these exchanges proved their dynamic was far more complex than what was being presented in court. And that's not all. Baldoni's lawsuit didn't just target the media, it called out Hollywood's trial by public opinion, claiming that once the allegations surfaced, entertainment outlets ran with a one-sided story, refusing to acknowledge any evidence in his favor. His camp painted the New York Times as a key player in this smear campaign, accusing them of cherry-picking details to fit a predetermined narrative. But here's where things get even more interesting. While Baldoni pushed back hard, some industry insiders weren't entirely convinced by his counterattack. Critics pointed out that selectively releasing texts didn't necessarily disprove Lively's claims, especially since context is everything. Others noted that his decision to go after the media rather than directly refuting Lively in court suggested he was more focused on repairing his public image than proving his innocence. And then there's the timing. Baldoni's lawsuit came right after fresh reports surfaced that more crew members were considering speaking out about what really happened on set. Was this a strategic move to shift focus? Damage control before the narrative spiraled further out of his hands? One thing is clear. This fight is far from over. With both sides digging in deeper, it's no longer just about what happened between Baldoni and Lively. This battle is now about power, reputation, and who can control the story before the truth finally comes out. Lively wasn't done. She launched another lawsuit against Baldoni and his production company, accusing them of harassment and retaliation. Meanwhile, Baldoni countered with an even bigger lawsuit, seeking $400 million in damages from Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and her PR team, claiming they were behind a campaign to ruin his career. By January 2025, the case had already gripped Hollywood, but then came the leaks, and everything escalated to another level. Both sides knew public perception could make or break their case, and suddenly the battle wasn't just in the courtroom. It was being fought through strategically released footage, messages, and behind-the-scenes clips designed to sway public opinion. Baldoni's camp made the first move. They dropped raw, unedited footage from It Ends With Us, focusing on a particularly intimate scene between him and Lively. The claim? That the video showed nothing inappropriate, just two professionals engaged in a scripted moment. His team insisted the clip was proof that Lively had exaggerated her discomfort, using a routine on-set interaction to paint a misleading narrative. But Lively's attorneys wasted no time firing back. They dissected the footage frame by frame, pointing out moments where Baldoni went off script, his hands lingering too long, his whispered remarks allegedly unscripted, and his physical improvisations that, according to them, made Lively visibly uncomfortable. Her legal team argued that the footage didn't clear Baldoni. It proved her point. They insisted it was an example of exactly what she had been describing all along, an environment where boundaries were ignored under the guise of creative direction. Then came the texts. Anonymous sources leaked a series of messages between Lively and members of the film crew where she allegedly voiced concerns about Baldoni's behavior during filming. Some messages even suggested that she had considered walking off set but was urged to push through for the sake of the production. If authentic, these texts could dismantle Baldoni's defense, proving that Lively's discomfort wasn't some last-minute legal ploy. It had been brewing throughout the entire shoot. But Baldoni's team countered with a leak of their own. They produced emails where Lively reportedly praised Baldoni's work as a director, calling him collaborative and supportive. The implication? That her allegations contradicted her own words. His lawyers used this to argue that Lively had only turned against him after personal or professional disagreements soured their relationship. As these leaks flooded social media, public reaction was split. Some believed the footage and messages vindicated Lively. showing how subtle but persistent boundary crossing can create an unsafe work environment. Others saw Baldoni's evidence as a smoking gun, proof that their on-set interactions were consensual and professional. But behind closed doors, insiders speculated about who was actually behind these leaks. Was Baldoni's team trying to bury damning evidence before it could be presented in court? Or was Lively's side using carefully timed releases to keep public sympathy on her side? With every new revelation, the case became less about hard facts and more about which version of the truth people were willing to believe. And just when it seemed like the leaks couldn't get any more explosive, another bombshell dropped. A yet-to-be-released piece of footage, reportedly withheld from both parties until now, was said to contain the most crucial evidence yet. If it surfaced, it could change everything. The question was, who had it, and when would they decide to unleash it? Then came one of the strangest twists. Baldoni accused Ryan Reynolds of taking their feud to the big screen. In Deadpool and Wolverine, Reynolds allegedly included a character named Nicepool, a caricature of Baldoni's feminist persona who was brutally eliminated by Ladypool, voiced by Blake Lively herself. The claim sent the internet into a frenzy, with fans speculating whether Reynolds had used Hollywood's biggest superhero franchise to mock Baldoni. Enter journalist Megyn Kelly, who didn't hold back in her analysis. She publicly sided with Baldoni, comparing Lively to Amber Heard, and calling her allegations a manipulative attempt to seize control over the film. Kelly went even further, exposing past interviews where Lively admitted she liked to take creative control over projects, suggesting this wasn't about justice, but about power. With the media frenzy reaching new heights, a federal judge had enough. In February 2025, Judge Louis J. Lyman ordered both sides to stop airing their dirty laundry in public, warning that their constant media leaks could result in an expedited trial. This was a clear signal. Either they take their battle to court or risk their reputations even further. Both Lively and Baldoni have suffered major career blows. Baldoni was dropped by his talent agency, while Lively now faces multiple lawsuits beyond just Baldoni's. Hollywood is watching closely. Will this case set a precedent for how power plays out in the entertainment industry? Or will both stars walk away with their careers in ruins? One thing is certain, this legal war is far from over. And as new evidence emerges, the final act of this Hollywood drama is yet to be written. What do you think? Is Blake Lively telling the truth, or is Justin Baldoni the real victim? Let me know in the comments.